Jackson for the retirement of one soldier and the graduations of companies Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta from the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. Please stand for the invocation given by Private First Class Princess Kioff.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we are thankful for this ceremony. We are especially grateful to all who have made this occasion possible. As we leave, we ask your blessing on all of us, especially our soldiers who have worked so diligently towards this goal, and their instructors who have assisted them along the way. Give our graduates a continued desire to grow intellectually for their own personal fulfillment and to enable them to continue working for the good of our world and mankind. Bless the staff and faculty of 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment with health of mind and body so that they can continue to assist young soldiers in their military pursuits. Guard and protect all in our efforts to serve you. Amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see here who have chosen to serve their country as a soldier. This is a last official review for the formation of one career lifelong soldier and the new soldier standing before you. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training. Far few are able to accept the challenges and difficulties that come with the life of a lifelong career soldier. But those in the formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are embedded with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day for the soldiers who have taken, and they should take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of the soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of our retirees and their lifelong dedication to our nation and are truly honored that the next generation standing on the field have chosen to join in our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today from left to right are the 116th Army Band under the command of CW2 William Proctor, graduating soldiers from companies Alpha, Bravo, the Battalion Color Guard, and graduating soldiers from companies Charlie and Delta. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army's training center system, selected on a basis of professional competence, leadership abilities, and years of service. These men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear the distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the important responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops of today's ceremony is Major Samuel Warren, who serves as the executive officer for the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. He and this battalion staff are positioned on the field. The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Parr Hallgrove. On his left is Command Sergeant Major Sheraton Gentles, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and the principal advisor to the commander.
Sir, the battalion is formed. 40 rounds. Sound, order, arm.
The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored.
Colors and persons to be honored. Center. March.
Confidence and commitment are the hallmark of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeants coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as an example to all.
Sir, the colors and persons to be honored are present.
Set the command.
Order rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask that our civilian guests please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as the national anthem is played.
Sound, reset, on. Attachment, reset, out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Attachment, order, up. Sound, order, pause, and parade, rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the retirement of a lifelong soldier. All soldiers begin their journey by graduating from basic combat training. Over the years, there have been changes to how the Army conducts basic training. However, many things remain the same. It is during basic training that this soldier was first introduced to the Army values. It is where they learned the importance of teamwork and that the Army truly is a family. That sense of team and Army family is still embedded in what is done today. Over 10 years ago, the soldier took the same oath to defend this nation that your loved ones on the field have taken. We salute this great soldier as they pass the torch of freedom along to the newest generation of soldiers, your loved ones standing on the field today. A certificate of appreciation from the President of the United States will be presented to those retiring today. It reads, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation for your grateful nation of your contribution of honor, service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during the critical times in its history with the devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of the military service. I trust that in the coming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose from which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure that the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for your happiness and success in the future. A certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff of the United States Army is also presented to those retiring today. At this time, Colonel Huntman and Command Sergeant Major Oates will recognize our retirees for their service to the United States Army. Sergeant Tierra Thompson having served honorably for 10 years of service, is placed on the retirement list effective 1 July 2024. Sergeant Thompson entered active duty in El Cerrito, California, and will reside in Orlando, Florida. Upon retirement, Sergeant Thompson would explore the world, get a stress-free job, and follow her passion for interior decoration. Her fondest professional achievement was advancing to the position of supply sergeant. And so, in spite of her struggles, she takes pride in the fact that every day her choices have had a positive influence on thousands of soldiers. The nation salutes Tiara Thompson, Sergeant, United States Army, retired. Please join me in a round of applause for our retirees and their families. Although newly retired, they will always be a part of the Army family.
Awardees, post. Right flank, hard. Left. Left. Left, right. Right flank, march. Left. March time, march. Group, halt. Left, hey.
The soldiers most responsible for the training of these soldiers are the drill sergeants, who are carefully selected by the Department of the Army. The drill sergeant campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of the professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the drill sergeant of the cycle for the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, will recite the drill sergeant creed. We ask that all drill sergeants, past and present, please stand for the reciting of the drill sergeant creed.
I am a drill sergeant. I will assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I will instill pride in all I train, pride itself in the Army and in country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standards of military bearing and courtesy, consistent with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, never require a soldier to attempt any task I will not do myself. But first, last, and always, I am an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant. This will defend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Hargrove and Command Sergeant Major Sheraton Gentles will now present the awards. The outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle for the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment is Drill Sergeant Ricardo Liarnes from Rockville, Maryland. The soldier leader of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private Ben DeGrande from Terrebonne, Oregon. The soldier of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private First Class Samarne Tawa from Pauau, American Samoa. The soldier leader of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private Henry Nguyen from Garden Grove, California. The soldier of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private Maria Barba from Montgomery, Alabama.
Hey!
The soldier leader of the cycle for Charlie Company is Specialist Caitlin Verende from DeSoto, Kansas. The soldier of the cycle for Charlie Company is Specialist Samuel Mellon from Camden, North Carolina. The soldier leader of the cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Anthony Handley from Bottenville, Utah. The soldier of the cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Adrian Sidis from Star, Idaho. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Parr Hargrove.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I get a round of applause for the soldiers on the field? So for those who joined us yesterday at Family Day, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Yesterday's spirited celebration will stand in contrast to today's more stoic parade. I appreciate you keeping your applause to only an applause because the soldiers on the field have commands to hear, and they got to be able to hear them to execute them and look good for you. Hey, on behalf of Major General Kelly, welcome to Fort Jackson. Colonel Hutton, CSM Oaks, Colonel White, CSM Duncan, fellow commanders, command sergeant majors, distinguished guests, again, welcome to where we make American soldiers. Special thanks to Sergeant Thompson for sharing your retirement with us today. Look, it's an honor for me to say a few remarks. And as we mark the milestone of graduation from basic combat training, it's appropriate to do so with a nod to the past as well as an eye to the future. Here at Fort Jackson in 1917, we assumed the basic training legacy from Valley Forge, the birthplace of our Army and genesis of basic training. It is here today where over half of the soldiers joining the U.S. Army are trained. That is why we can truly say victory starts here. Since 1917, Fort Jackson has earned its place in the history books time and again, producing generations of American soldiers who have selflessly served and defended the United States through both world wars and beyond. Some of them have paid the ultimate price and remain buried in the distant lands where they fell. Many more have returned home and continued to serve America, both in and out of uniform. It is not an exaggeration to say our great nation would not exist without their sacrifices. And we should all be grateful we can call upon their example as a source of pride to us today. We also have our retirees and veterans who, by their example, still teach us. Many are here in the stands. I would ask that all veterans and retirees please now stand. Please, let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. What a legacy, and I appreciate it. Thank you for your example. Joining us, the Champion Battalion on the field today, is the 116th Army Band. They're a central part, and we appreciate you being with us today. So one piece of history you may not know is 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry draws its name, Champion Battalion, and our motto, 40 rounds, from the Vicksburg Campaign of the Civil War. And just as the soldiers of the 13th Infantry Regiment led Union forces up Champion Hill, the drill sergeants today lead from the front and set the example for the entire formation, each and every day. Our mission would not be possible without those drill sergeants reinforced by a talented group of cadre. Those drill sergeants, they train, they mentor, they develop, they mold the most precious resource the Army has, a lethal soldier. Several drill sergeants were selected above their peers for their performance this cycle, and I'd just like to recognize Drill Sergeant Linares Morell, and Eccles for your outstanding job. Thank you. So let's talk about the soldiers on the field. 10 weeks ago, you entrusted your loved ones to us. You have no doubt noticed a change in them. It is a good change. It is a positive change. It is grounded in the Army values and anchored to a soldier's discipline. The soldiers on the field standing before you are lethal. They are physically fit. They are mentally tough. Each of them has shown fortitude and grit, overcoming challenges of basic combat training. They know the value of teamwork. They stand before you and wear the pride belonging to an American soldier. And what is that pride? It is the pride earned through overcoming trials, through being tested and being found worthy. It is the pride you feel knowing you are part of something greater than yourself. And while it is earned and internalized individually, it is a pride worn collectively. The 600 soldiers before you came from all walks of life. They came from all points across this great nation and across the globe. There are over 14 languages, not English, spoken at home. 66 soldiers became American citizens yesterday. What an outstanding milestone. To my soldiers on the field, I say this. By now, you realize there is a strength within you, one you can rely on when things get tough, one you can share with your battle buddy through a well-timed word of encouragement. What is more, you were given and have internalized the tools and training to meet future challenges you will face head-on and overcome them. You have earned the right to take your place in the ranks of our Army, and I welcome you. As you look to a future of limitless possibilities, remember the past. I charge you today to carry the spirit of 1776 forward, embrace your future in our Army, and be all you can be. 40 rounds. 40 rounds! Victory.
Today's soldier is above all a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally committed to the warrior ethos, grounded in the Army values, and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army's Soldier's Creed embodies these commitments. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear today at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see you that you are willing and an able protector of the freedoms fought so arduously for by all who have gone before you and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Specialist Verinde presents a certificate of appreciation to the retirees and leads the soldiers standing before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed. Please be seated.
Pass and review.
40 rounds. Pass in review.
In consideration for those around you, we ask that you please remain seated in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. It is appropriate as the color American flag is approaching you to rise and remain standing until it has passed to your right. Once the ceremony has concluded, family members and awardees may meet their soldiers under the canopy located to the left of the bleachers. All other members and friends, please meet your soldiers on the field once instructed by the narrator and by respective companies. The 13th Infantry Regiment was constructed in May 1861 when the Army expanded to the regular Army and during the American Civil War. During the Civil War, the regiment fought its way through to Vicksburg, participating in the battles of Hayes Bluff, Champion Hill, and Black River, taking the fight out of the Confederate forces upon reaching Vicksburg. On 19 May 1863, the 13th Infantry Regiment participated in the assault on Vicksburg, thus earning its official motto of First at Vicksburg. The regiment was the only Union regiment to plant its colors on Confederate position. The 13th Infantry Regiment is the only unit to be led by both General William Sherman, known as America's most aggressive maneuver commander, and General Philip Sheridan, the greatest Union cavalry officer. From 1867 to 1871, the regiment fought in the Indian Wars in Montana and North Dakota. In June of 1889, the regiment was sent to Cuba and led the 1st Infantry's attack on San Juan Hill, capturing the Spanish flag. The regiment saw action in the Philippines during the Philippines insurrection and was assigned to the 8th Infantry Division in June 1918. The regiment found itself fighting through the hedgewoods of France in July of 1944 as a member of the 8th Infantry Division and led the drive to the A River. The regiment spent 10 months in combat in North France, the Rhine Line, and Central Europe. It occupied the positions of Sheriffan Line and was involved in the bloody Battle of Hedgewood Forest. After multiple activations and inactivations on 27 February 1987, the 13th Infantry Regiment was transferred to the United States Army Training and Doctrine Command and reorganized at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Currently, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Battalion of the 13th Infantry Regiment conduct basic combat training. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing and until it has passed to your right. Passing the reviewing stand is the commander of troops, Major Samuel Warren, and the battalion staff. The 116th Army Band is commanded by CW2 William Proctor. The drum major is Staff Sergeant Christopher Libby.